today we had our assistant pastor speak today, and his whole message was fearless from fear to faith. And I've really been thinking all through December, what would be a good hashtag for our team for 2017. 2016 is no surprise. I'm sure a lot of you guys saw it in your own coaching business. It was not our best year. 2015 was a really growth year, and 2016 was a real decline year. A lot of our team left coaching, and a lot of our team stopped coaching, even if they remain on as coaches, but they're not doing anything, and they don't ever order anything from Beachbody. So a lot of volume decreases, and that overall affects a lot of income. So anyway, I decided I'm just going to start fresh for 2017. And, with it being Super Saturday weekend, even though I did miss ours here, just kind of rolling with the high that people would have gotten if we had gone to Super Saturday, or Super Sunday, whatever one you have near you guys. So anyway, the whole thing this year is I really want to just have you guys change mindsets, because I know how hard, you guys know I've been this forever. And it is so easy to become overwhelmed and frustrated and let fear creep in and let doubts creep in. And so I just want us to start from scratch, start all over, a fresh mindset, going back to the basics. And so anyway, a lot of what he talked about obviously was based off of with first sermons, based off of scripture, but a lot of it we can really apply to our businesses, whether or not you are faith-based or not. So especially for those listening on the recording, just go with it. Okay, so he opened it up talking about when he was a little kid. He grew up in Brooklyn, New York, and so he was a very inner city kid. He's the most water that I ever, played in was when they opened up a fire hydrant. And anyway, his family one summer, they went away to this state park, and there was a pool there. And so all his family and everything jumped in, and his dad jumped in, and he kept going closer and closer, but he was very fearful because he'd never swam before. And his dad was like, dude, I got you. His arms are open. He's like, I got you. Just jump. And the kid was like, no, I'm super scared. I'm not going to jump. And he's like, eventually I overcame that fear. I realized I trusted my dad was going to be there, wasn't going to let me drown. And I jumped in. And he's like, I ended up having so much fun with my cousins and stuff in this thing, in the pool. So anyway, so this whole thing is about overcoming our fear. And as coaches and as just individuals, but especially business side, we have a fear of failing in general. A lot of us have a big fear of inviting. I know when I first started out, my first year and a half, I was very hesitant to invite to the business. And when I would invite, because I knew that's what would grow my business, but I was scared crapless every time I sent a message. And my first 3 messages are horrible. I get back, when I talk to people now and it pops up old messages, I'm like, oh my God, I was so spammy and ugh. But so a fear of inviting, a fear of sharing your story. So, people are very afraid, and you don't have to share your entire story, but we have so many little chapters of our story. And that's what makes us vulnerable, and that's what makes us relatable to people. And that's what people are going to connect with us on, especially those of us who are, people see as big fitness buffs, right? And people who are just starting out, and the people that we're really trying to help, that's not their journey. That's not what they relate to at all. So I know what I post, I've made my Instagram very consistent and my Facebook page very consistent with a workout video every single day for the past 2.5 years. And there's people that love it, but there's a lot of people that don't connect to that. And that scares them. And so I have to try to connect with those people in a different way. So sharing your story, little things, little bits and pieces. Bonnie Engel is the top person to ever follow about sharing. She weaves in coaching and her story literally on a day-to-day basis. Little bits and pieces, not paragraphs, right? People have a fear of helping others. We want to help others, but then it's what do I do to help them? Or now when someone comes to me, now what do I do, right? The fear of not knowing everything. I get a lot of new coaches, or I used to get a lot of new coaches, and they were afraid to start coaching because they're I just don't know everything yet. I don't know everything about the back office. I don't quite understand this volume thing. I mean, I'm still learning volume. Okay. It's a numbers thing, and you guys know how my mind works with numbers. Not being an expert, not being a fitness expert, not being a nutrition expert. The beauty of this business is you don't have to be. You're not going and opening up a gym somewhere. You are literally just leading by example. You have fitness professionals who have made the workouts for you. You have nutritionists who have designed the meal plans and Shakeology for you. You're literally just sharing your experiences, the experiences of your customers, of other coaches on the team, of people in, success stories that Beachbody shares, how it's helped them, and sharing your own personal, how Shakeology's helped you, how eating healthier has helped you, how working out or just moving your body has helped you. So you don't have to be an expert, but those are things that hold people back. Not being at your desired goal, weight, or body structure. That's a huge one that holds people back. And I look at people like Coach Tullen, who is a little bit bigger, but she suffers from like PCOS, and she's got several other things. And she's like an elite coach. And the reason is because she was like, hey, she started out with insanity, but she couldn't do insanity. She literally tapped side to side, and she would try a couple moves and modify them like crazy when she first started insanity. But she just was sharing with people, like, this is what I'm doing. And some of it started to work for her because she was just moving her body and learning to eat healthier, and the weight started to come off a little bit. So from day one, she just said, hey, this is what I'm doing. This is what's helping me. This is what's helping me just feel better overall. And she started sharing it and asked people to join her. So she shared it through her struggle from the heaviest that she ever was down to where she is now. Instead of waiting until she got to where she is now, which probably isn't even her desired body yet, but she's in a much healthier state of mind. So it's anyway, sharing it all the way through. So you don't have to be at some, you don't have to look like Janelle Summers or, a pre-pregnancy Lindsay Nally, right? Although she looks amazing for just having a kid, I must say. Not being the strongest. If you, I have fallen in love with muscle. The stronger I get, the more that I've worked out. Years ago, I admired other people, but I didn't really want any muscle on my own body. And so you have to remember, again, we're not necessarily going for fitness professionals. Sure, there's lots of people that become coaches. Sure, I interact with a lot of people on Instagram that are fitness professionals, but the majority of people that we're helping are your stay-at-home mom, your busy working mom, you're like fresh out of college, want to lose the 20 pounds, busy trying to get a job type person. They're not necessarily the person who wants to be ripped. They just want to feel good in their skin after having 3 kids. That's one of my best friends. She's had 3 kids and she's like, I don't need to be ripped. I just want to feel good in my skin and I need to have some strength. So the fact that you're not the strongest and you can't do pull-ups, I suck at pull-ups. That's like my goal this year. But that's not what's going to connect people to you, right? So people let that hold them back. Success. We want to succeed, but yet we're like, I don't know what to do when I get there. So I'm afraid, if it happens, then what do I do? Leadership, a lot of people have leadership qualities. You guys have leadership qualities. When I first became a coach, I fell in love with John C. Maxwell. If you have not read, just go on YouTube. There's a million free videos on the 21 laws of leadership. If you're on the New Name Coach Success page, I don't know if you pronounce his name Leifer or Leffer, but he runs a group that I did, and he shares videos from John Maxwell that touch on each of those 21 laws. It's amazing, but there's so much stuff out there on YouTube that really helps you. And that's what I did my first year when I was like, okay, I want to lead a team. I have leadership qualities. I need to really hone in on some of this stuff, and I need to get some confidence behind it. And then the responsibility. People trust me to help them on their fitness journey and their health journey. And then people trust me to become a coach on the team and help them hit their goals. And so that can scare a lot of people into I don't know if I'm ready for all that. And so they dip the toe in the water like this person, just our assistant pastor was like, I dipped my toe in the water, but I was afraid to jump in the pool. But I had to become fearless. And so you need a fearless attitude. It's a shift in the mindset. So opportunities are going to arise. A lot of tough moments are going to arise. This is life and in the business itself. And so you need to face those fears and embrace the challenges. So you've got job stress that's going to interfere, obviously family stress, busy schedules, deadlines, and then everyone's favorite one to complain about is time, which is one that after being in this so long, I hate that excuse anymore because everybody's super busy nowadays. This is 2017 and people are so used to multitasking a million things. So I'm when I see all these other coaches, which I'm going to talk about, what they were able to accomplish with such a crazy schedule, it's you know what? They just learned to use their time wisely. So life storms are going to hit. If you follow Lindsay Matway, you know that she was a bartender. Her now husband was a bartender. They dated for 3 months and she got pregnant. Her daughter was born premature with a brain bleed, and it racked up over $100,000 worth of debt. So here they were, two people not married, barely any income. She ended up staying home with the baby, but now they had all this debt. And so she worked like crazy to get that up. So that was like a health one and a financial one. Scotty Hobbs is another one who like financially could barely afford living. I don't know how many kids at the time that he had, maybe 3. And he left the house at like 3 something and worked like 4 something to like 3 in the afternoon. And his wife left and worked 2 until 11 o'clock at night. So they were rarely seeing each other. They weren't spending enough time with their kids. And so he decided, instead of sleeping for an hour on his lunch break, he decided to use that to schedule team, calls with his coaches, calls with customers, business hours. Instead of he multitasked during his workouts. Instead of listening to the videotapes, because back then we didn't have VOD, he muted them and he would put on his personal development on audio so he could listen. And then while he was at work, there was whatever job he had, he could listen to audio, and he would listen for like 8 hours a day while he was at the job to all kinds of personal development. Anyway, he worked enough to send his wife to quit her job and stay home with their kids. And then eventually he quit his job, and now they are multimillionaires. And then Tanya Barron, everyone thinks, oh, she's just, Shanti's right-hand woman. But before she became a coach, she had been this big dancer, and then she got pregnant, and then they found themselves in bankruptcy, and she was overweight, and then she had to work her way back, lose the weight with T25. She did become a coach, but she had to work, and now they're building their own first house. So it's easy to look at the very successful ones and think, oh, they have it. It just comes easy to them. But really, when you get to follow them and you listen to them slowly sharing their stories, you realize like they really earned it. It wasn't just super easy for them. And so anyway, this comes from the book of Matthew in the Bible. It talks about what the disciples were all out on the boat. There's this huge storm, and they cry out, Lord, help us. And then, the Lord says, come to me. And Peter got out and he walked on water, and he did that out of pure faith. So he was completely focused and he had faith. And so he started to walk on the water. But then fear sets in. And so fear will cripple you from moving forward. And you cannot let fear override your faith in the storm. So what happened is he took his eyes off of Jesus. He stopped trusting, and he let fear creep in. And therefore he started to drown and was like crying out like, help me, right? And so for those especially who are not faith-based, completely just think of this as with your business. You need to focus on your why. And so I don't need you to have a why that you want to leave your job. There's a lot of very successful coaches in this business who love their day job, and they make a full-time income with Beachbody, and they make a full-time income at their job, and it works for them. And so I think that's the biggest hesitancy is people are like, I don't want to quit my job. And that's okay. But we've had a lot of coaches this past year who do come to me and they're like, you know what? My job isn't the same as it used to be. I used to love it and I don't love it anymore. And I know that, and I understand that because I used to have the same thing with teaching. So I need the why. And that's why when you first bring a coach on into the business, and when I first bring coaches on, I want them to figure out what their why is. It can't simply just be, I love the products. It can't simply just be, oh, I want to help people. I want to, help other women to feel good about themselves. There needs to be a strong enough reason, because as you know, if you've been working the business and you interact with enough people and you get a lot of rejections from people, or I'm not ready right now, or I'm not interested in the coaching side, or I'm not really interested in making health changes and joining your group right now, or I'm not interested in investing into my own health right now, I'm just going to do this other thing for free. It can be very frustrating. And so if you don't have a strong enough reason, it's really hard to make you keep going. So you do need to focus on your why and have a vision as to why you're even doing all this. And it does need to be something substantial that's going to keep you going. So for me, it was like, I have nothing. I left teaching and it's like, I don't know how to do anything else. And then I hated my jobs after I left the public school, and I was floating around from center to center. And then I was working with like older kids, and I literally felt like adult glorified daycare. And I did not agree with my last 2 bosses. I did not agree with their philosophies and how they treated their employees, how they ran their business. I butted heads on a lot of it, and I was super depressed and super stressed, and it was just killing me. And so it was like, okay, this is what I want to do full time. Eventually we want to have a family. Now that we have this wedding, it's like making me want to work even harder. And then eventually we're going to have our own family. And so that is my reason why I push so hard and I refuse to quit. So I see the long-term vision, and you have to have something strong enough, because otherwise it's super easy to lose faith, focus, doubt's going to creep in. We throw ourselves pity parties like, I'll never hit Success Club, or I can't do this, or nobody wants to join me. It's so easy. And so the biggest thing is it cannot become a one-time thing, right? You have some good months and you seem to get some momentum for a couple months, and then we fall off. So it can't be that you just do personal development when you feel like doing personal development. It needs to be something super consistent. And for me and my business, I noticed that when I start to slack, my business slacks. And the same thing goes with those vital behaviors. They seem so simple. Like everyone wants like the secret, right? And every top coach is like the vital behaviors. And then they're super easy to do, but they are even more easier not to do. And that's where the trap falls in. So again, fear is going to cripple you from moving forward. So the third thing is to not let distractions bring you down. So anything that pulls your attention away from your focus and your goals is a distraction. And so as you know, Home Alone is like my favorite Christmas movie. And so here is like an image of like scared and fearful, right? And so what are some of our distractions? Family, kids, our job, finances, hobbies. So like, if you're into hobbies in different kinds of groups, or in even people who are like really into big plays, anything that's like a hobby can be distracting. Addiction, so it doesn't have to be like alcohol and drugs addiction, but like I like to watch TV, and I thought when we got rid of cable that would have made things different, but then we got Hulu and Netflix, and it's like a whole new world open up, and I have like a million things I want to binge watch. So for me, it's like, okay, right now I need to focus and go do this, and I need to make sure I'm in this office and not out in the living room, because I will easily open up Hulu. And then our own insecurities are distractions from us, right? So we need to get rid of fear and move over to this guy over here where he's waving with confidence and be like, I got this, faith, right? In our business. So it's just a simple mindset change, because fear is costing us our ability to move forward. So, Peter he got distracted. He let fear creep in. He almost lost his life, right? He was drowning. My goal for you guys or my intention for you guys is, don't let any distractions cost you anything in 2017. I don't care if it's a business goal. I don't care if it's a coaching goal. If right now you're in a place where you need to just work on your own fitness and nutrition, that's what I care about. You are customers first. You are challenges first. You are friends first. Then you are coaches and teammates. And so when you're not at your best, you can't help people. That's what we tell, right? We tell moms, this is why you need to make your health right, so that you can give the best to your husband and be the best mom for your kids, because you have 100% to give. Same thing for coaching. If you are not in a good state mindset of your own personal fitness and health journey, it's really hard to help other people. So if your goal for 2017, or at least the first beginning of 2017, is to focus on you, that's all I want. I don't want to push you for the coaching stuff. That's what I want. So I want us, though, to like mark it in the sand today that like fear stops today. We do have the ability to overcome fear. And so the biggest question is, do you believe? Do you believe in the business? Do you believe in the products? I think you do believe in the products, because you wouldn't be here if you didn't believe in the products. But then the biggest one is like, do you believe in yourself? And then if not, my answer is personal development, or it's to really reconsider. So this was a statement that he said at church today, and I just kind of reworked it for coaching. But a statement that you can say is, I'm all about positive affirmations, is, I'm not scared anymore. I'm not going to let fear hold me back from my true potential. My goals are greater than my fear. And so I just picked up 3 pictures, and this is just me working. This is actually when I was in California at Shalene Smart Success Live, but I was still working. And then this is obviously Summit 2 years ago. Like, imagine how much, so all these coaches are working. It's a big celebration as the team is growing. And this hard work has paid off, because I got recognized today as Success Club Legend. That's 24 months of hard work. So this company is built around 3 things, 3 missions, really. decide, commit, and succeed. And that's really my only goals for you guys for 2017. I want everybody to succeed. Your goals need to become my goals. My goals for you, it doesn't work that way. I've tried that in the past. I'm like, I want this person to be this, but that doesn't work that way. I mean, Shannon probably gave up on me in the very beginning because she wanted me to hit, emerald, and it took me like a year to hit emerald, and then it took me another year to hit diamond. So I want to help you in whatever your goals are, but I want you to decide on what those goals are. I want you to commit 100%. If it's your own personal fitness and nutrition that needs to get back on the wagon, then that's what I want you to commit to. And then I want you to succeed in it. And I want to be right there beside you. If you want to run in this business, I'm going to run with you. If you want to crawl in this business, I'm going to crawl with you. But I want the best for you. And so that is kind of what let's see if I can find this thing now. That is what our sermon was about today, and it just really kind of spoke with me. So let's see if I can open this back up.